Hey guys, Dr. Shook here. Hope you guys are doing well today. Tell you what, the more I learn, the more that I feel compelled to need to teach you guys. So I spent, it's like what, 7 o'clock here? 7 o'clock. I'm working late because what I've been doing for the past several hours is actually digging into research. So I've been on PubMed. You can go to pubmed.gov, and I've been looking at research on diabetes, obesity, and environmental chemicals. It's something that, what I'm doing is on, this Thursday we're going to have a webinar on where I'm going to teach all about, I think, what are the 3 most dangerous chemicals in our environment today, and some new testing that I've become exposed to and I'm aware of that I think is the best way for us to assess exposures, because there's a lot of potential problems with testing, urinary testing, blood testing, stool testing for chemical exposures. So I found that what I'm doing is this entire week, and what I've been doing over the past few weeks, is really focusing on how these chemicals and a lot of the chemicals in our environment affect metabolism, promote obesity, they disrupt our energy, our ability to produce energy, and how they're basically leading to obesity, and which has there's a lot of other connections to it. But this is something that I've been really focused on lately. So I've been digging into the research, and there's a ton of it. There's just so much. I could spend hours every day researching this. And what I came across today that I want to share with you guys, there were a few different papers. I've got papers and so many papers bookmarked that it's unbelievable. You guys, do me a favor though. If before I get into this, please help me, help other people, help your family, help your friends, help spread the word about this, because what I'm getting ready to share with you guys is unbelievably important information that I cannot tell you. Like, I'm going to go through something here that talks about even the need that some of these authors suggest for regulatory intervention. I'm telling you guys, I think research is supporting it, and it's not just one paper, it's tons of papers that we are being slowly poisoned, no other way to put it, on a massive scale by being exposed to hundreds, if not thousands, of environmental chemicals, many of which have never even been tested for human safety before being used in agriculture and in manufacturing. And you're going to see that there are connections throughout the scientific literature, and there's really only been small amounts of research done on these chemicals. 85,000 plus chemicals used on a regular basis, 1,500 studies done. Or 1,500 chemicals studied, more studies than that, but only 1,500 of 85,000. Completely inadequate, completely irresponsible, and unbelievable. And our children and our families are suffering, and you guys are also suffering with hormonal problems, autoimmunity, diabetes, and all kinds of issues. All kinds of issues. And so share this information, because we have got to become aware, number one, and then we've got to start taking steps immediately to reduce our exposure and to get these things out of our bodies. And then we have to speak together to make any difference. That's what it's going to come down to, because no one is studying this stuff, guys. No one's researching it. It's very rare that you're going to get any money put towards this type of research, because there's no money in it. There's no money in it. No manufacturing, no big industries are putting money into researching why what they're doing is going to hurt you. Now, there's not that there's bad people. It's just that when you're looking at a business model, it's irresponsible not to. I'm not arguing for them, but I'm just telling you that no one is spending money on figuring out and looking into a lot of these problems. So it's really going to be a regulatory governmental thing. And so, I'm not going to get into politics at all, but it's something that we've got to be aware of. So let's talk about this. So, are chemicals the cause of your diabetes and obesity? Are chemicals basically making us fat? And guys, we've talked about this. I've got other live streams. We've talked about this. And you know that there are a ton of chemicals in the environment that are contributing to this problem. If you've watched me, if you haven't watched me, and this is your first time, there are a ton of chemicals. I've done a lot of live stream videos on Facebook. You can go to our You can go to our videos tab on our office page. Just look for the office of Dr. Brad Shook. You can go to our videos tabs and you can look at all the live streams that we've done. You can go way back and there's a lot of great information there, guys. But these chemicals are diabetogenic, promoting diabetes, shutting down our hormonal signaling, shutting down our body's ability to be able to be sensitive to insulin. So you guys that have insulin resistance, that have pre-diabetes, that have metabolic syndrome, these are all potential mechanisms working on you. And let me share with you what this research shows us. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I hear it, but people don't think it can affect them until it's directly something that can be shown to be impacting them directly. Otherwise, they're like, oh, I'm just going to put it in the back of my mind. It's not a big deal. Until it affects me, it's someone else's problem. It's not mine. Well, you guys just don't know. You just don't know. It's what it comes down to. Let me share something with you. So I want to share with you this research paper. Population-associated risks, okay, and costs of diabetogenic. So things that cause diabetes, chemical exposures, and in particular in the elderly. Okay, in particular in the elderly. So this study was looking at population-associated risk and cost of diabetes-causing chemical exposures in the elderly. So they're looking at the elderly and diabetes, the costs and the risks. All right. So let me share something with you. They said that this was unbelievable. I'm just going to summarize a few things. So the research that they did suggests that 100. Now this was in Europe. Okay, this was in Europe first of all. That the research suggests that 152,481 cases of diabetes could be prevented by reducing endocrine disrupting chemicals. So these chemicals that are doing this, that they could actually reduce in the elderly 152,481 cases. I'm going to tell you something. Estimated cost, right? So they said endocrine disrupting chemicals. These are the chemicals. Endocrine is your hormonal system. Chemicals that cause and promote diabetes were estimated to be, and this is in euros, okay, which has a higher value right now than the dollar, of $4.5 billion per year. 4.5 billion euros per year. In dollars, that's like over $5 billion if that was in dollars, right? So, but 4.5 billion euros. Endocrine disrupting contribute to diabetes. What they're recommending in this paper is that this is what they say too. Our findings speak to the need for strong regulatory framework that proactively identifies chemical hazards before they're widely used. Like common sense. Who wouldn't test a chemical before they allow it to be used unless they're put money before people? Money before people. And the use of safer alternatives, they're saying. Okay, so they say environmental contaminants, their conclusion, one sentence. Environmental contaminants contribute substantially to diabetes in the elderly, with costs in Europe likely to be in the billions of euros. And let me tell you right now, we're going to have the same problems. I guarantee you. Do a study just like it in the U.S., and I would be surprised if it's not as bad or worse in the U.S. Billions. How many of your parents that are elderly, how many of you are elderly that have diabetes, pre-diabetes, metabolic syndrome, have these chemicals are to blame? I'm telling you right now that this is the tip of the iceberg. And what happens if you look at multiple chemicals? See, when you look at really the population and our overall exposure, that you draw blood from individuals, you'll see that they have hundreds of chemicals in the blood. No one knows how they're all working together, how their synergistic effect of working together is really impacting us and contributing to this explosion in disease. I think it is a huge problem. Many, many people think it's a huge problem. But because it's very difficult to study and because no one's studying it, because there's no money in it, you are left with mysterious causes of illnesses. You are left with, the solution being take this drug for your problem. Meanwhile, the driving factors are never really being uncovered. You have to be your own advocate, guys. You have to look at everything with an air of criticism. And you know what? I'm fine. Look at what I'm telling you with an air of criticism. I don't care. That's healthy. Always, I am always open to changing my opinions on things. I am. Present new information. That's the only way that you can make progress, is to not be stuck in like a dogmatic approach to everything. But I'm telling you that this is going to be, and this is a problem. I truly believe this is a problem. Look at these numbers. So 60 years ago, 1% of the population had diabetes. 1%. Now, 10% of the population has diabetes. If you go back, guys, there's, you say, well, yeah, no one exercises. People don't move as much. We have different lifestyle. We don't, we eat more sugar. It's not correlated with sugar. The increase in diabetes is not correlated with sugar. It correlates to a degree, but there's a huge plateau. Go back to one of my recent live streams on this, and I talk about the correlation or the lack of correlation. And what it really correlates more with is an increase in the use of agricultural and industrial chemicals. So now 10% of the population has diabetes. Projected 30% of the population have diabetes. This will bankrupt, just talking about the U.S. in general, this will bankrupt the U.S. healthcare system. There is not enough money to pay for the problems that diabetes and this brings on. Obesity, diabetes, and all the consequences of diabetes, from amputation to blindness to kidney failure, you name it, peripheral neuropathy. How many people do you know that have burning and tingling in their hands and feet, like a stocking and a glove appearance? Very, very common. Other causes of it, but the most common cause is diabetes. It is a horrible, painful, debilitating problem. Being driven by, listen, there's no doubt that the diet and that exercise have a contributing factor, that they are very important at trying to improve this. But how much of the obesity and these problems is actually coming from the chemicals? So, this paper that I just talked to you guys about is showing that it's a huge contributing factor. And if we only focused on removing the exposure of these chemicals, that we would likely improve this problem dramatically. But you know what else? What about all the other things that they didn't study in this paper? All the other hormonal problems and other ways that these chemicals, they studied 4 different chemicals, by the way, in this paper. What if it's only 4 chemicals? This is, you talk about how does it impact the thyroid? How is it impacting all the other hormonal signaling systems in the body? The problem is huge, and you don't have to have a full mastery of it to just understand that it's a problem. It's a problem. Reduce the exposure to the chemicals, detoxify your body, and then you've got to share this, and we've got to spread the word about these problems. And people have to, quite frankly, it's going to take political action to change this, guys. It's going to take political action to change it. It's going to take regulatory changes. And you know what? I'm all for business growth and development and prosperity, but not at the expense of my children. Never at the expense of life. Not acceptable. Not even remotely acceptable. So this is expected. So this was I got ahead of myself. So cases of diabetes. So estimated cases of diabetes prevented by decreasing EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals. So the chemicals that do all this, exposure was 100, and this was in the UK, 152,000 cases. Huge economic impact. Cost in euros at $4.5 billion. In the US, that would be over $5 billion. This is a huge issue, guys. What I want you to know is that there's things that we can do about this. So I try to share with you guys these problems. I want to talk to you about things you can do on your own, like right now. So I'm going to talk to you about things you can do on your own to help yourself reduce exposures to these things. And guys, there's post your questions and comments. I'm not going to be able to answer them right now because I'm not going to be able to stay, it's already 7:20. I got to go. But I do want to share with you guys some things that you can do. Guys, help me help other people, help your family, help your friends, help the children, help your children, help your friends' children, because you know what? have an opportunity to change your life. If you're older and you're seeing this, then you have an opportunity to make you're making a conscious decision to either change or not change your life based on what you learn here. Your kids and children, they just go along with what you guys do, and they don't know. They don't have a choice. You guide them. So help other people. If you're not willing to change, help other people become aware of this. You know what? Because really they're the most vulnerable. People that are unaware. They don't have a choice. They just get subjected to this crap, and then their life, then they have these consequences. Help other people. You know, even if you don't make difference in your life, if you don't make changes to help yourself, help me help other people. Let's make a difference in other people's lives. You know what? I mean, that's what it's all about, really. You make a difference by helping other people. So what I'm going to share with you guys is like things that you can do. So a lot of you guys have seen a lot of my recommendations. There's 2 basic things you can do. Basic things, right? Number 1, I'm going to break this down into a few other pieces. Like, so number 1, like reduce your let me say, the most simply, eat whole foods, right? Eat whole foods. Really reduce your processed foods dramatically. Anything that's processed, anything that's prepackaged, reduce it as much as you can. Organic foods are absolutely going to reduce your exposure to a lot of these chemicals, guys. They just are. So, but there's always an argument, and I get it, and I understand it. There's always an argument for I can't afford to eat organic foods. I get it. It's expensive to eat organic foods, but you know what? If we did the right things, if we told our politicians that we wanted if we wanted the good foods, the fruits and the vegetables to be subsidized versus all of the grains and the other things that tend to be, you know, more problematic, we would be better off. So maybe it's again a political thing, but eating whole foods is very important. The whole foods is really going to be hugely a huge advantage to you if you're trying to reduce your chemical exposures. Now, you want to look at the let me see. We'll go here. The you guys, a lot of y'all know this, I know, but for a lot of people don't. EWG, right? EWG. Go to the Environmental Working Group's website, and you're going to be able to get the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list, guys. Go to EWG.org, and you'll be able to get the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list. It's a list of foods. There's a Dirty Dozen, 12 foods that you need to buy, that you really need to buy organic only. They're sprayed so heavily with pesticides and herbicides, they have residues that you do not want to expose yourself to that. The Clean 15 list are foods that are usually sprayed less, that you can buy conventionally, and they're safer. They're going to have a lower toxic burden that helps you save some money. EWG.org, Environmental Working Group. Great thing. Okay. Next, you want to go to, so if you have a smartphone, like you have whatever, you know, a phone with a screen, that's either an Android phone or an iPhone or whatever you've got. If you've got a smartphone, you can get the Think Dirty app, and I know there's some other ones. Some of you guys can post it in the comments. But so there's an app. You just go to the store, the iTunes store, or the what is it? The Android store, right? The Android Play, and it's a Think Dirty. There's got to be a better place I can write. I'm running out of space. So it's Think Dirty. App, okay? So Think Dirty app. That's an application. It's an app. And it's a good thing. What you can do is you can actually open the app and you can scan the barcodes of all of your cosmetics, all of your health and beauty aids, everything you clean in your house with, and it will give you a toxicity score. You can also sort by the level of toxicity, okay? So you can sort, so you can look, you can find other products that are safer for you, okay? Now, you can do Think Dirty. Now, the Environmental Working Group, they actually have an application too, which is a great app. I use both of them. I've got them on my phone. But these are 2 things, guys, you can start to reduce your exposure right now by changing your diet and getting things out of your diet. So anything stored in plastic, anything, water bottles that, you know, don't drink out of plastic water bottles. Drink out of stainless steel or glass, period. Filter your water or get spring water from a source that's tested. Filtered water, the best is going to be reverse osmosis. Reverse osmosis systems are going to definitely be the best. That's, you know, if you can do that, get that. If not, drink, you know, try to drink from natural springs where the sources are tested. is really the best option, guys. And some filter is better than no filter. I'll say that, but some of them really just change the flavor. They don't do much for actually filtering out some of these chemicals. So I would definitely look into that. Plastic bottles are going to be terrible. Plastic bottles with water are terrible sources for this stuff. Terrible sources for environmental chemicals that are endocrine disrupting. BPA is a huge one, but there are many, many more, phthalates and other things. So these are 2 things that you can do right now to help yourself. Okay, Whole Foods, try to shoot for Whole Foods diets, EWG.org, Dirty Dozen Clean 15, Think Dirty app on your phone, scan everything, and you're going to be in good shape. Guys, this Thursday, the 13th of July, you can join me for a webinar where I'm going to be talking about the 3 most dangerous, the 3 most dangerous chemicals in our environment that are a threat to our health, and the testing that you can do to try to assess exposure to environmental chemicals. You just go to nonoretoxicbody.com and you can register there, guys. We have 200 seats. That's it. We have over, I think probably we're at about 140,000 people that are totally follow us in total on Facebook and everything else. I'm trying to do these once per month. But right now, it looks like we're going to be able to do that okay, about once per month, but we only have 200 seats per webinar. So that's it. So you get registered, you're going to be able to get a seat. If you don't get registered, I'm sorry, we'll have another one next month, but I'll try to teach you guys as much as I can. You can always start here to help yourself. Guys, please share this information. We got to make a difference in this world. It's my goal to help change your life and improve your health. So we can do one person at a time. If I can help one person, I know that that's going to help your family, because you're going to change and you're going to see and you're going to understand the importance of this, and it's going to change your family. You're going to have an impact on your family, positive impact, and that's going to have a positive impact on your community and then ultimately the world. So that's how I'm doing it. One person at a time, we can change the world. I truly believe that. I also want to help you guys to become better educated, because I'm a huge advocate of, I try to promote self-advocacy so that you are your own advocate. You become educated on things that are impacting your health so that you can be a participant in your health care and not a bystander. Okay? I'm not telling you to try to do your doctor's job. I'm just telling you I want you to be able to be a better partner with your doctors, because your doctors are trying to help you guys. They are not exposed and they don't understand a lot of this stuff. Like this week, I'm going to be all day Thursday, all day Friday, and all day Saturday in continuing education. So I'm taking off part of my week. I'm going to be doing and then we're going to be doing a webinar at 9 p.m. on Thursday. So, I'm going to be doing a lot of research, and I'm going to be in continuing education through the Institute for Functional Medicine on hormones. It's going to be something. It's going to be all about hormonal health. I'm sure we're going to learn about endocrine disruptors. I'm constantly studying and researching this, guys. So, this is really an important thing to me, and it's an important thing that I think can really change your lives, and it's going to help a lot of people if we do this right. So share this information. I will do the best that I can to help you guys. It's just hard for me to practice full-time, research, teach you guys, get education, be a dad, and that's going to be my top priority, my kids and my family. So appreciate you guys a lot. Hope that you've learned something from this, and I hope you've got some places to start here too. So talk to you guys again soon. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for all the hearts and the love and the likes. Thank you for sharing this video, and I'll do the best that I can for you. Talk to you soon.